of quarters. Awesome. So, here's a quarter, and we need to remember that the top number, the numerator, and the bottom number, the denominator. So as you can see, the denominator is 4, which means that we have to split the shape or number of objects into 4 equal groups or parts. The numerator, which is 1, tells us that we need to take one group or one part from that shape. Okay, so let's have a go then. So here we've got a circle, and we need to find a quarter of that circle. Now to find a quarter, it's really, really simple to remember. All you have to do is half the object and half it again. But remember, we always have to end up with 4 equal groups. So with a circle, if you think about it, okay, we know a half means we need 2 equal groups, so let's half this circle first. Okay, so we've halved it once, and as you can see, we've got 2 equal groups. Then all we have to do is half the object again, which is brilliantly easy. Let's halve it again. Okay. Now, as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 equal groups. Now remember, the numerator says we need to take one part of that. So here we have got 1 quarter of a shape. And we can do the same with this rectangle here. Now remember, in order to split into 4 equal groups, if we were to do something that looks like this, so let's say I half the object, okay, and I think it goes like this, and then I want to half it again to make a quarter. Now as you can see, sorry the line's not straight, we're going to use a ruler. As you can see though, which is a good enough example, is that these 2 groups aren't the same size, because these 2 groups are smaller than those 2, so that's not a quarter. Remember, the 4 equal groups have to be equal. Okay, so let's try that one again. Right, let's try this again. So, we're going to half it like we did before, because remember, when you halve something, you need 2 equal groups. So we've halved it once, and then we're going to half it again. So let's see, I need to somewhere fold this object, or split it, so I've got 4 equal groups. Tell you what, when I say pause, I want you to stop the video, talk to your partner, and you guys have a think about where you would half that rectangle. Okay? Pause! Hi, okay. I'm assuming you're back because you and your partner have talked about it. Yeah? So let's see if with what you think is a quarter is the same as how I think a quarter should look like. So we've halved it into 2 equal groups, like we said, and then we have to half it again. So tell you what, I'm going to half it right down the middle again. Okay, now remember to use a ruler. Okay, and hopefully you should have something that looks like 4 equal groups. Okay, and again, the numerator says we need to take one part of that. So you can take any part of that really, so I'm just going to take this part here. Okay, and that is 1 quarter. So it could also look like this, where again you can see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 equal groups. And again, we take one part of that 4. Okay, and that is a quarter. Now sometimes you might even be asked to find a quarter of a number. So here we've got 8 lovely chocolate chips. Love chocolate chips. Okay, so we've got 8 chocolate chips. So how do we find a quarter? How do we find a quarter of those chocolate chips? Well, we use the denominator, which is 4, to make 4 circles like that. Now we have to put all 8 of those chocolate chips into these balls. So we know we need to count out 8. So count 8 out with me, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, I'll just show that little dot there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And a good way to make sure you're doing this right is each group should be equal. That very important word, equal. And now we look at the denominator and we want one of those groups. So let's just choose this one. Okay, so in that one group, how many lovely chocolate chips do we have? We've got 1, 2. So, a quarter of 8 is 2. If you can see that, there you go. Okay, which means that if you were to share a quarter of 8 chocolate chips with your friends, they would all get 2 chocolate chips. Right then, let's have a go with a little activity. Right, welcome to Year 3's Bakery. Now, on your table, alright, you're going to have a couple of different things to do. Firstly, okay, you've got some different shapes on your table, and I'd like you to fold them and see how many different ways you can make a quarter out of that shape. So, for instance, okay, on your table now you have them a bit smaller than this, but you might have something that looks like this. So it's a square. Okay. Now, as you can see, I've folded my square, okay, into quarters. So what I did was I folded my shape into half. Okay. So if you remember, to find a quarter, you need half an object and then half it again. So I halved it. So look, it's 2 equal groups. So this side here, okay, is equal to this side. And then what I did again is I halved it again. So I folded that into another equal half. So again, look, you can see it's same on this side and it's same on that side. And if I were to open it up, you can clearly see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 groups, and they're all equal sizes. So now all I've got to do is shade in one of those, because the numerator on a quarter is 1. So I'm going to shade in one of those like that. Okay, so I've shaded in like this, and with the others, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a quarter, and a quarter like this. So there, I've shaded in a quarter. Just to help me remember, I've written a quarter in that square, quarter in that one, and a quarter in that one. But that's just one way I could have done a quarter. Okay, so fold all those different other shapes and see how many different ways you can show a quarter. Once you've folded all those shapes into quarters and you've taken a picture of it and you seesawed it, what I'd like you to then do also is have a go sorting, okay, some lovely blueberries that we need for our blueberry cake into 4 balls. Okay, so remember, we need 4 equal groups of these blueberries. Now these blueberries should be in a pot or a cup in the middle of your table. Make sure you count out how many blueberries you have. Okay, count them out, and I want you to sort out those blueberries into quarters, into 4 equal groups. Once you think the right answer, you think you've got the right answer, put your hand up for the teacher, or the teaching assistant will come around and check, and then you can seesaw it. Good luck. And try not to eat the blueberries. They are for our customers. Otherwise, we won't be able to bake any blueberry cakes. Okay? We'll see if we can make any for you guys later.